You didn't grow up dreaming of this life. You grew up watching it from the outside. The expensive cars parked in front of cheap restaurants, the men in tailored suits who never raised their voices, the way everyone moved out of their way without being asked. You told yourself it wasn't for you. That was before the night a man named Carmine sat across from you in a diner at 2 a.m. and made you an offer that didn't sound like a question. This is the story of how you became the most trusted and most dangerous person in the room, level by level, step by step, until there was no way out. Level 1. The errand. It starts with something small. That's how it always starts. Carmine doesn't ask you to do anything illegal, not yet. He just needs someone to deliver a bag. Black duffel, zipper locked. Don't open it. Drive to an address in the warehouse district on Route 9. Hand it to a man named Paulo. Come back. That's it. You need the money. You have bills. You have a mother with medical debt. You say yes. The drive takes 20 minutes. You don't open the bag. You almost do twice. Paulo meets you at the loading dock. He looks at you like he's measuring something. He takes the bag without a word. You drive back. Carmine hands you $500 in cash for 30 minutes of driving. You don't ask what was in the bag. He smiles. That tells him everything he needs to know.
Level 2. The introduction. A week passes. Then Carmine calls again. This time, it's different. He asks you to come to dinner, not a diner, a real restaurant. Private room in the back, cloth napkins, no menus. The food just appears. There are 4 men at the table. You don't know their names yet, but you understand their weight. These aren't street guys. These are men with lawyers and accountants, men who own things. Carmine introduces you as a man I trust. That sentence costs something. You just don't know the price yet. The dinner lasts 2 hours. Nobody talks business. They talk about sports, family, their fathers. Afterward, Carmine walks you to your car. He says, "They liked you. That matters more than you think." You drive home with a feeling you can't name. It's not quite pride. It's something heavier. Level 3. The test. The next job is different. Carmine has a problem. A man named Dino runs a numbers operation on the east side. Dino has been skimming. Not a lot, but enough to disrespect the arrangement. Carmine doesn't want Dino hurt. He wants Dino scared. Your job, go to Dino's card room on a Wednesday night. Sit down, play a hand, lose on purpose. Then, when you get up to leave, you lean in close and say 7 specific words. 7 words. Carmine writes them on a notepad and burns it after you memorize them. You walk into that card room at 10:30 p.m. Cigarette smoke, cheap overhead lights. 6 men around a felt table. Dino is the one sweating. He always sweats. You sit, you play, you lose $200 that Carmine gave you in advance. When you stand to leave, you lean toward Dino's ear. You say the 7 words. Dino's face changes color. Not red, not pale, something in between that has no name. You walk out without looking back. Your hands are completely steady. That surprises you. Carmine is parked around the corner. He asks how it went. You say he understood. Carmine nods slowly. He doesn't say anything else. But the next morning, there's an envelope under your door. $2,000. No note.
Level 4. The inner circle. 3 months in, your life has changed in ways you can't explain to anyone. You have a new phone, new number. You don't give it to old friends. You have a standing reservation at a steakhouse on 5th. You have a key to an office above a dry cleaning business on Mercer Street. This is where the real work happens. The office has no sign. The elevator requires a code. Inside, 2 assistants who don't ask questions, a large mahogany desk, and a man named Felix who handles the money. Felix explains your new role. You are Carmine's eyes, his second opinion, his insurance policy. When Carmine meets with someone he doesn't fully trust, you're in the room. You don't speak unless spoken to. You watch. You remember. Later, you tell Carmine what you noticed, the nervous tick, the hesitation before a number, the way someone's eyes moved to the exit. You become very good at reading people. Better than you expected. Better than anyone expected. One evening, Carmine tells you something that locks a door behind you. He says, every man in this business has 2 lives, the life he shows people and the life he actually lives. You're now inside the second one. There is no outside anymore. You hear it as an honor. Later, you'll hear it differently.
Level 5. The money. The numbers you start seeing are not real to you at first. $500,000 moved through the dry cleaning business in a single week. 3 restaurants, 2 car dealerships, a parking company, all of it laundered clean. Felix explains the architecture like a professor. Shell companies in Delaware, real estate holdings, controlled losses. You understand maybe 60% of it. That's enough. Your cut is now $5,000 a week, cash. You buy a new apartment in a building you used to walk past and admire. You buy your mother a car. Tell her it's a bonus from work. She cries. You smile. There's a knot in your chest the whole time. You start to notice things about Carmine. How he never eats without checking who's near the kitchen. How he trusts no one completely, not even you. How his eyes are never entirely at rest. You ask him once, "Don't you ever relax?" He looks at you like you've said something in a foreign language. Then he says, "Relaxing is how men in my position get put in the ground." You stop asking questions like that. Level 6. The loyalty test. 9 months in, something changes. One of Carmine's lieutenants, a man named Sal, is talking. Not to the press, not to the police, to a rival family across the river. This is a different kind of problem. Carmine calls you into the office at midnight, just the 2 of you. He slides a photograph across the desk. Sal, outside a hotel in the meatpacking district, meeting a man named Greco. Greco belongs to someone Carmine despises. Carmine says, "I need to know everything. Who he met, how long, what was exchanged." He says, "I'm asking you because I trust no one else right now." That sentence is designed to make you feel chosen. You know this now. You do the surveillance anyway. 3 nights in a rental car 2 blocks from that hotel. Cold coffee, bad takeout, a camera with a long lens. You document everything. You bring it back to Carmine. Sal disappears 2 weeks later. Nobody reports him missing. Nobody asks you what you know. You don't ask what happened to Sal. That night, you sit in your apartment and look at the city lights for a long time. You don't feel guilty. That's the part that scares you. Level 7. The wait. 1 year in. You are not the same person. You know it. The people who knew you before know it too. That's why most of them stopped calling. You have power now, real power. People return your calls within the hour. Problems get solved before they reach Carmine. Contractors, lawyers, city officials, you know who owes what to whom. Carmine trusts you with things he trusts no one else with. His real accounts, his medical conditions, his fears. He is not well. His heart is bad. He has been managing it quietly for 2 years. He tells you this on a fishing trip off the Jersey coast. Just the 2 of you. He says,
If something happens to me, you're the one who keeps this together. You understand what that means. You also understand what it makes you. A target. Because if Carmine's empire passes to you, there are at least 4 men who will want to take it, and take you with it. You start sleeping with one eye open. Literally. You hire a man named Rourke to watch your building. You change your routes to work every single day. You stop going anywhere predictable. You have everything you wanted a year ago, and you are more afraid than you have ever been in your life.
Level 8. The Fracture. The call comes on a Tuesday. Carmine has had a heart attack. He's alive, barely. Hospital on the Upper East Side. Private floor. Only family and you are allowed in. You sit by his bed for 2 hours. He can't speak clearly, but he grips your hand once and doesn't let go for a long time. When you leave the hospital, 3 men are waiting outside. Marco, Benny, a man you only know as the Greek. They are not there to give you condolences. Marco says, "The organization needs leadership," while Carmine rests. You hear what he's not saying. You say, "Carmine is the leadership." Marco smiles. It doesn't reach his eyes. He says, "Of course." That night, your apartment is broken into. Nothing is taken, but things are moved just slightly, just enough for you to notice. It's a message. We can reach you. You call Rourke. He says he saw nothing. You fire Rourke. You don't sleep that night.
Level 9. The Choice. Carmine recovers enough to speak in short sentences. He calls you to his hospital room on a Thursday evening. He says, "They're already circling." You say, "I know." He says, "You have 2 choices. You disappear. Take the money, get out of the country, never come back. Or you hold the line until I'm on my feet." He looks at you. "I can't tell you which one. That choice has to be yours." You think about the apartment, the money, your mother's car. You think about Sal. You think about 7 words whispered in a card room, about a bag you never opened, about the first moment you felt power and mistook it for freedom. You sit with Carmine for a long time without speaking. Then you say, "I'll hold the line." He closes his eyes. He doesn't say thank you. He doesn't have to.
Level 10. The Storm. The next 6 weeks are the most dangerous of your life. Marco makes his move. He cuts off 2 of Carmine's revenue streams. He pulls 3 lieutenants to his side. He spreads rumors that Carmine isn't coming back, that you've been stealing, that you made a deal with the police. None of it is true. All of it is effective. You counterattack the only way you know how. You use everything Carmine taught you. Read people, find leverage, move before they expect it. You sit down with Benny alone. You show him numbers, evidence. You show him what Marco's side looks like if Carmine returns, and Marco is exposed. Benny flips in 45 minutes. The Greek disappears on his own. Smart man. Marco is left alone. And alone, Marco is nothing. When Carmine finally walks back into the office above the dry cleaning business on Mercer Street, Marco is gone. Nobody explains to you where.
Level 11. The Throne. Carmine is different after the hospital. Slower, more deliberate. He delegates more, mostly to you. You are now in every way that matters, running the operation. The men answer to you. The money flows through you. The decisions come back to you. You sit at the mahogany desk now. Felix brings you the numbers. Lawyers call you first. You are 32 years old. You have more power than men 3 times your age spend their entire lives chasing. And there is a silence inside you that never goes away. You thought power would feel like something. It feels like nothing. It feels like a room with no windows. You go to your mother's house for Sunday dinner. She asks how work is going. You say fine. She talks about your childhood, your father, old neighbors. You sit at her kitchen table and realize you cannot remember the last time you felt safe.
Level 12. The knock. The knock comes on a Thursday morning. Not on your apartment door. On the door of the dry cleaning business. Federal agents. 12 of them. They have a warrant. You are not there when it happens. You find out from Felix, who calls from a burner and then goes silent forever. You sit in a coffee shop in Brooklyn for 3 hours. You think through every move, every account, every name, every meeting. You built this operation to be clean, to be layered, to be distant. But you know, somewhere in 12 months of decisions, you made a mistake. Everybody does. You think about Carmine's words. Relaxing is how men in my position get put in the ground. You open your phone. You have a number you swore you'd never use. A prosecutor. Someone you met through a mutual contact 18 months ago. Someone who, at the time, you thought might be useful one day. You were right, but you didn't think it would feel like this. Your finger hovers over the name for a long time.
Level 13. The end of one life or the beginning of another. Here's where the story splits. Because this is where every man in your position has to make a final choice. And there is no right answer, only consequences. Option 1. You make the call. You negotiate. You give them names. Not Carmine. You owe him that much. But others. Enough. You disappear into a program. New name, new city, new everything. You are alive. You are free. You are nobody. Everything you built, gone. Everything you survived, erased. You drink your coffee. You take walks. You don't look over your shoulder anymore. Some nights, you almost feel like yourself again. Option 2. You close the phone. You call in every favor you have. You spend the next 6 months dismantling evidence. Lawyers, judges, pressure applied in the right places. It works. Mostly. You survive the investigation. But the operation is smaller now. Exposed. And the men who saw you survive, they know what you're capable of. They also know you're someone who can be targeted. You live the next 10 years, one step ahead of everything. It never gets easier. Option 3. You never make either call. You sit in that coffee shop until it closes. You walk home in the dark. You look at your city, the one you used to see from the outside, and you understand, finally, what you traded. Not your freedom, not your safety, your ordinary life. The one that was always, quietly, enough.
You started with a bag you didn't open. 30 minutes of driving. $500. Everything that followed came from that moment. Not from who you are, from a single choice. The first one, to not ask what was in the bag. That's how it works. Not with violence, not with a grand offer, with something small, something easy, something that doesn't look like a door closing behind you, until it does. If you made it this far, you already know why this story works. Because some part of you understands the pull. That's not a flaw. That's what makes you human.